Hello, everyone. Welcome to Awaken Your Freedom Show. Please subscribe to support our growing community. All right, let's get into this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a body of work that has genuinely reshaped how people think about personal effectiveness and fulfillment, too.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about Stephen R. Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's really a landmark book.
It really is. And when you look at all the advice out there now, so much is just about speed, quick wins, life hacks.
hmm And Covey's perspective, especially how this breakdown frames it, it just cuts through all that noise. It's not about hacks at all, is it?
Not at all. This analysis really emphasizes that these aren't just like 7 tips you follow. It calls them timeless principles.
Yeah.
So our mission here is to go beyond just what the habits are
Right.
and really get to the why, how they connect, how they build on each other, and why aiming for them is about genuine fulfillment, not just ticking boxes or being busy.
It's presented as this really foundational shift, a way to fundamentally maybe rewire how you think and approach life itself.
Yeah, whether it's work, relationships, or just, feeling more in control of your own self.
Exactly. These habits are positioned as the bedrock. And importantly, they're not things you just do. The idea is they become part of who you are.
Things you become, I like that. So where does this journey of becoming actually start? This analysis kicks off pretty deliberately with habit 1.
Right. Covey calls it be proactive.
Mhm.
And at its core, the principle is that your life isn't just a result of your circumstances.
Okay.
It's a result of your choices. It's really about taking ownership, moving from just reacting to things to consciously responding.
The example used here is just, wow, Viktor Frankl,
Uh.
a Holocaust survivor. And his quote, "Between stimulus and response is the power to choose, even in those horrific conditions." That really puts habit 1 into sharp focus, doesn't it?
It's an incredible demonstration. Even when everything external is stripped away,
Yeah.
that inner freedom to choose your response, it remains. And the analysis we're looking at brings up a related idea, just changing your language,
Sure.
shifting from saying, I have to do this, to I choose to do this.
Oh, interesting.
This breakdown actually calls that simple shift total freedom.
Total freedom. Just from changing have to choose to. That feels surprisingly powerful. Even for small daily stuff, thinking you choose your attitude towards it.
It suggests you have more agency than you might think, even in frustrating situations.
Yeah.
So starting there with understanding your own power to choose, it really sets the foundation.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, so you realize you have this power to choose. Habit 1. What's next? Where do you aim that power?
Well, that leads directly into habit 2. Begin with the end in mind.
Right. This is the vision piece. Thinking about your legacy, designing your life on purpose, not just drifting.
Exactly. The book, and this breakdown mentions it too, uses that really vivid exercise. Imagine you're at your own funeral.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. It's intense.
It is. But what do you genuinely hope people say about you? About your impact? And then the challenge is, okay, look at your life now. How do you reverse engineer things to make that vision real?
That's crucial because the insight highlighted here is so common, isn't it? Most people climb the ladder of success only to find it's leaning on the wrong wall.
That's the potential tragedy, right?
Yeah.
You can be super efficient, work incredibly hard, race up that ladder.
Yeah.
But if it's not leaning against the wall that represents your core values, your vision, then all that effort takes you somewhere you didn't actually want to go.
It's like running flat out without checking the map first. Habit 2 forces you to define the destination before you start sprinting.
Precisely. So you've embraced your choice. Habit 1, you've clarified your destination. Habit 2. Now, how do you actually do it day to day? How do you execute?
That must be habit 3.
Habit 3, put first things first. Now, this sounds like time management, but the analysis digs deeper. It's really about values management.
Values management, how so?
It's about having the discipline to prioritize what's truly important in your life based on habit 2, even when the merely urgent stuff is screaming for your attention.
The urgent versus important trap. I know that one.
We all do. Think about it.
Yeah.
Spending all day on emails, small crises. They
those
feel
are-
busy, right? Those things feel urgent.
Totally.
But maybe you neglect the truly important things. Quality time with family, working on that big dream project, your health. Urgency often wins because it's just louder.
So true. And the analysis uses that really direct phrase, schedule your priorities. Don't prioritize your schedule.
Yeah, I like that. Don't just fit the important stuff into the gaps. Define what matters most first, then build your schedule around that.
Okay, so this is where habits 1 and 2 become real day-to-day action. You're proactively choosing habit 1 to focus on what aligns with your end goal, habit 2.
It's the practical discipline needed to actually walk the path you've set.
All right, so that covers the sort of personal foundation, being proactive, having a vision, prioritizing. How does this shift into dealing with other people effectively? We're moving into the public victory habits now.
Exactly. Starting with habit 4. Think win-win.
Win-win. Okay.
This is a really fundamental shift away from a scarcity mindset. The idea that for me to win, you have to lose.
Right. The fixed pie idea.
Yeah. Instead, it's about adopting an abundance mindset, believing there are often solutions where everyone can benefit, and that aiming for mutual gain actually builds trust and leads to better long-term success.
And it's not just compromise, right? Where everyone kind of loses a bit.
No, that's a key distinction. The analysis points out it's about seeking a third alternative, a better way that genuinely works for everyone involved. It's being effective and fair.
Okay, give me an example.
Well, in business, instead of just trying to crush your competition, maybe you build partnerships where both companies thrive. In family life, it's finding solutions to disagreements where everyone feels truly heard and respected, not just one person winning the argument.
I really like the point made here. Stop asking who's right and start asking what's right.
Yes, that takes the ego right out of it, doesn't it?
It does. It shifts the focus to finding the best outcome for the situation for everyone. That feels very win-win.
And to find that what's right, well, you need good communication, which leads us very neatly into habit 5.
Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This one gets quoted a lot.
It does. But it's maybe the hardest one to actually practice consistently. It means truly listening to someone else.
Yeah.
Not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Listening with the real intent to grasp their perspective, their feelings, what's underneath what they're saying.
Precisely. The examples given are pretty clear. A manager who does this builds incredible trust because their team feels genuinely heard. A parent who really listens first builds much stronger connection and respect with their child. It just changes the whole dynamic of the relationship.
There's an interesting insight in the analysis about this too. It says, a lot of conflict isn't just about feeling unheard, it's about feeling unseen.
That's powerful. When you listen deeply, you're validating their experience. You're showing them you see them. And that often lowers defenses and allows connection.
Which seems essential for working together effectively, for collaboration.
Absolutely critical. And that sets the stage perfectly for habit 6.
Synergize. This is the 1 + 1 = 3 idea, right?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more than just teamwork, though. It's about creative collaboration where the result is something new, something better than what anyone could have come up with alone. It's about leveraging differences, not smoothing them over.
Okay, like how?
The example used is great.
Right.
Think of a tech founder, a brilliant designer, and a sharp marketer starting a company.
Okay.
Their startup takes off not because they all think the same, but precisely because they bring different skills, different viewpoints, different ways of thinking to the table. That blend creates something unique.
So the differences are actually the strength.
Exactly. And that leads to this bold idea in the analysis. True innovation often comes from constructive friction, not from everyone agreeing all the time.
Interesting. Friction, not sameness.
Right. When different views clash, but constructively, with a win-win goal, habit 4, and seeking to understand habit 5, that's where really creative breakthroughs can happen. Things you wouldn't get from a groupthink situation.
So synergy is kind of where the interpersonal habits really come together to create something bigger.
You could definitely see it that way. It's applying all those principles in a group context to achieve more.
Okay, so we've got personal effectiveness with 1, 2, 3. We've got strong interpersonal skills with 4, 5, 6. What keeps it all going? How do you sustain this over the long haul?
That brings us to the final habit, habit 7. Sharpen the saw.
Sharpen the saw, like the woodcutter story.
Exactly like the woodcutter story. This is the habit of renewal, taking time to maintain and enhance your greatest asset, which is you. You can't keep giving if your own resources are depleted.
So self-care, basically.
Yes, but in a very strategic, holistic way. The analysis points to Covey's 4 dimensions: physical exercise, sleep, nutrition, mental reading, learning, planning, emotional, social, building relationships, empathy, service, and spiritual connecting with values, nature, purpose, reflection.
It's quite comprehensive.
It is. And the truth bomb here, as the analysis calls it, is that self-care isn't selfish. It's actually strategic.
Strategic? How so?
Because if you neglect this habit, eventually you just burn out. You lose the capacity to practice the other 6 habits effectively. Your energy drains, your effectiveness drops.
That makes total sense. If you're exhausted mentally, how can you be proactive? If you're physically drained, putting first things first feels impossible.
Right. We're trying to think win-win or listen deeply when you're emotionally running on empty. It's incredibly difficult. Sharpening the saw is the ongoing investment that fuels everything else.
It enables all the other habits.
Exactly. It keeps the engine running smoothly over time.
So we've gone through all 7. Be proactive, begin with the end, first things first, think win-win, seek first understand, synergize, and sharpen the saw. But the analysis wraps up with a really powerful final point about them.
It does. It's this idea that you don't do the habits, you become them.
Back to that becoming idea.
Yeah. It's not presented as just a checklist to master. It's more like a blueprint for character development. It's about integrating these principles so deeply, they just become your natural way of operating, your default setting almost.
Building character from the inside out, which then impacts your outer world. Like, as you grow in these principles, your influence grows.
That's the idea. And when you're anchored in your values, habit 2, and proactively choosing your responses, habit 1, you kind of have an internal compass, even when things outside feel chaotic or confusing.
And the result isn't just being more efficient, doing things faster.
No, it's about true effectiveness, doing the right things, the important things, in a way that aligns with your purpose and values.
So for anyone listening who feels maybe tired of superficial hacks, or they're achieving things but still feels something's missing, this framework offers a pretty different approach.
It really does. It's less about adding more tasks and more about transforming who you are. And the case made is that the transformation is the real path to an effective and ultimately fulfilling life.
That's a deep thought to end on.
Well, maybe one thing for listeners to ponder is, which of these habits feels like the biggest challenge right now? Sometimes just focusing energy on truly understanding and trying to live one habit that feels weak can actually start a positive chain reaction. It helps shift from just trying to do them to beginning to become them.
That's a great practical takeaway. Focus on one to start that internal shift. These definitely aren't quick fixes. They require real effort and thought, but the potential payoff seems huge. To close, please don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or Spotify to stay sharp and never miss a drop of knowledge that could change your financial life. Thank you.